Hi everybody, my name is Dave Marsh and I'd like to welcome you to this matrix system overview. Now before I begin, I'd first like to mention that because each MLS has slightly different requirements, the system that we'll be using during this overview may differ slightly from the one you're currently working with. Nevertheless, the functionality is the same, and for the most part, whatever you see during this overview, you'll easily recognize in your own system. Now I'm going to take for granted that everyone knows how to log into the system, so we'll start by inserting our user ID and our password, then click Login and begin. All right, today we're going to highlight the core features and functionalities within Matrix, and we're going to begin here on the customizable home page. Now the reason why we call it customizable is essentially because of these widgets. So first off, what is a widget? A widget is a quick access point to other features in the system. So if there's a matrix function that you've recently used, then you'll have immediate access to that information either the next time you log in or even during the same session. Now included in these widgets is something called a market watch. And a market watch by default shows you at a glance all of the activity in the entire system for any property type during a specified period of time. But because each realtor defines their own market differently, the Market Watch widget can also be customized to display just what's happening in that realtor's area. Now, similar to the Market Watch is a feature called Hot Sheets. And where the Market Watch is meant to show you all of the activity in your defined market, a Hot Sheet's designed by default to show you all of the activity for a specific property type or types during a certain period of time. So if you've ever been away from the system and you'd like to see exactly what's been happening in a specific customer's area while you were gone, simply select how far back you'd like to see the activity for, then choose any of your existing hot sheets to run. All right, so the next feature I'd like to discuss is searching. And there are 4 different ways to do a search in Matrix. The first is a criteria-based search, and it includes a collection of all of the default fields chosen for a particular search form. Now, in addition to the fields already included by default, users can also search additional criteria simply by selecting which fields they'd like to use from the additional fields list box. So let's actually do a search. And we're going to look for all active residential properties in the $400,000 to $600,000 price range with 2+ bedrooms and 3+ bathrooms. And from the button bar, we can see the exact number of listings that currently match this criteria. All right, so taking a look at these results, the first thing I may want to do is change my display from its current thumbnail view and also modify the number of listings shown on each page. And while we're at it, let's also customize the display by reordering some fields, removing a column, and finally, adding a field that wasn't initially included by default. All right, so now let's save this display. And with my updated settings, we're now ready to make this my new default display so that every time I generate a search going forward, I'll be looking at 25 listings per page in custom single line mode. Now to view photos, listing location, or the history of this property, simply click any of the associated icons and click the MLS number for a full realtor display page. All right, so the second type of matrix search is a location search. Now there are a couple of different ways to isolate listings based on location. The first is by selecting any of the predefined locations found on the search criteria forms. But for this example, we're going to use our existing criteria and isolate all the listings to specific areas on the map by first using our radius tool, then our rectangle tool, and finally, I'm going to choose the polygon tool and exclude a very specific area within an area. All right, so the third way of doing a search in Matrix is by far the most efficient, and it's called the Matrix Speedbar Search. Now, a speedbar search is run by adding default or custom speedbar shortcuts to the speedbar. To illustrate this, let's return to the home page as if we've just logged into the system. Now, I can do this from any page, but from here, we'll do the exact same search that we did just a few moments ago, except this time, we'll add our criteria speedbar shortcuts to the speedbar. Now, if you remember, in the original search results, we isolated our listings to specific areas on the map. Well, I can also isolate those exact same areas simply by adding a previously created custom speedbar shortcut to the speedbar. All right, so the fourth and the final way of doing a search in Matrix is by selecting one of your automatically saved searches from the recent search drop-down list. Now, the recent search drop-down list is a collection of your 50 most recent searches in the system, and it's essentially a quick way of running previously run searches without the hassle of having to re-enter the search criteria every time. Since the most recent searches at the top of this list will eventually drop off, we're also able to save these searches long-term and use them again in the future. Now, when we run a search in Matrix, it's typically with the expectation of doing something with your results. And in Matrix, all of this functionality can be found in the button bar. For example, from the Actions tab, users are able to email selected listings directly to their clients, print the listings in a variety of displays, use the listings as comparables, create turn-by-turn driving directions, generate stats, or even export specific fields as a CSV file. Matrix also allows users to view their results as a specific customer. So if there's ever a question on whether or not any of these listings had previously been sent to one of their clients, the realtor simply needs to select that client's name from the contact list. All right, so under the Cards tab, realtors have the ability to set a specific contacts listings aside by essentially saving them in a repository for use at a later time. And not only can listings be added directly from the original search results, but those same listings can also be copied from another contacts card as well. In the final tab on the button bar, users are able to save the current search and run it again in the future. And just like we used earlier, they can also save the criteria used in this search as a custom speedbar shortcut. And finally, realtors can also save this search as a new auto email so that anytime new or updated listings with this criteria appear on the system, a notification will automatically be sent to the customer. In fact, not only can Matrix users change the frequency of these notifications, but by using the concierge service, they can also choose to accept or reject specific listings before they're even sent. All right, so now that they're sent, let's take a look from a customer's perspective and then click on the link to view our listings in the client portal. Now, the client portal is a repository containing all of the content sent to a customer from their realtor. And it's from here that the customer has the ability to view additional public information about the properties. Clients are also able to attach a short note to the listings, as well as categorize the property as either a favorite, a possibility, or discarded. Now, under the My Searches section, not only are clients able to access each of the auto emails set up for them by their realtor, but they also have the ability to create and save custom searches of their own. Now, the Favorite section contains a collection of all of the client's categorized listings, Messages, a collection of notifications, and a My Realtor section where realtors can display some additional information about themselves. All right, so returning to Matrix, it's important to note that not only is a realtor able to see exactly what's been happening within their client's portal, but they can also set exactly how they'd like to be notified of each of these activities outside of Matrix as well. All right, so the next Matrix feature that I'd like to introduce is the CMA. Now, the CMA Wizard is a step-by-step process that allows users to quickly generate a PDF that contains both default and custom CMA pages. These pages include subject property details, cover sheet information, comparable properties, map locations, comparable price adjustments, as well as pricing details, and the option to add any additional notes. And just like with everything else in Matrix, realtors are able to email a PDF to their customer or generate and save a copy for themselves. All right, so the final feature that I'd like to introduce is the Matrix Stats module. And this is essentially an area where users are able to create custom or preset statistics by adding their own search criteria. For example, let's say I have a customer who's looking for residential property for sale in this specific area of the system. And now, let's say the stat I'm interested in is the average sale price for homes in this area during the past 12 months, broken down by month. In fact, while we're at it, let's also add a second stat to our chart that includes the number of sales for each month as well. Now, users can also choose from a variety of style options, as well as print, email, or just generate a CSV file of the data as well. All right, well, this concludes an overview of just some of the major features included with Matrix. I'd like to thank you for watching. Take care.